it's harder to achieve later in life because you don't have the power of compound and that power of time. Remember, we talk about four levers: income, expenditure, time, and target. For Darren and his partner, their time is the challenging piece here. So, in most cases, depending on whether you go and see a spruiker or a professional advisor, you may get mixed messages here as well. People might say, yeah, sure, I can make this really happen for you. And we're going to take a lot more risk. So that's what you've got to understand is, so you need, Darren, you need to sit down. So income's great, but you do need to sit down and say, well, what are the important things for us? If hypothetically, Darren and his partner, we don't know how much super they got, right? So there could be a big super there might be a defined benefit, which is technically an annuity in most cases. So that might give them some base load of income that they're going to get. Obviously, the safety net is the pension, right? So Darren's talking about having 10 to 15 years to make this happen. Now, the challenge with that is that, property prices, you really want that 10 years to get true maturity out of it. So Darren, I don't mind the idea that you're going to buy a home that you live in as your principal place of residence, because from that point of view, that is not assessed as part of your total assessable assets when it comes to pension. Okay, there's a good chance that, given how much time we've got, that you're going to get some type of pension, because we may not be able to build that wealth base up. So that's the reality check. In terms of trying to achieve the $80,000 to $100,000 passive income without touching the asset base is highly unlikely. Meaning that, let's say we did buy one investment property in your mid 50s, and then even another in your early 60s, which I would have thought would be aggressive, and would need to sort of have a really high risk profile attached to it. We might be able to sustain those properties up until such time as, once you finish work, we might have been able to build up enough of a buffer where you can hold on to one of those properties for another 3 or 4 years before you have to sell it. And then you get a material gain from that property. Well, that material gain then forms part of your total assessable asset base, right? So that could affect your pension. So all of this extra work and risk that you've taken could actually be cut out by the pension impact in terms of what that story looks like. So for me, this is a perfect example of someone who needs to sit down with a qualified professional advisor and go through each of the pros and cons of what their story is.